The wail of sirens sliced through the humid summer air, cutting short the laughter and music that had filled my lakeside barbecue. Red and blue lights flickered across the pine trees, painting my peaceful retreat in an unsettling glow. I stood on my deck, burger spatula in hand, watching 3 police cruisers pull into the gravel lot I owned, but the neighborhood thought it was theirs. My guests, about 20 friends enjoying a Saturday on the lake, turned to stare as the officers stepped out, their boots crunching on the stones. Behind them, Linda Harper, the Homeowners Association president, strode forward, her face radiating triumph. She pointed at me, her voice sharp as she spoke to the lead officer. This was no simple noise complaint. This was a showdown, and I was ready. My name is Tom Bennett, a 52-year-old financial advisor who'd traded city stress for a quiet lake house in Willow Creek, a small community nestled around Crystal Lake in upstate Michigan. 6 months ago, I bought this Placia modest 2-story with a wraparound deck and a view that made every sunrise feel like a gift. The realtor warned me the price was low because the seller, an aging widower, needed to move fast. What she didn't mention was the fine print in the deed. I didn't just own the house. I owned the entire lake and the parking lot the neighborhood had used for decades, thinking it was community property. The trouble started when I bought a couple of jet skis. After years of crunching numbers for clients, skimming across the lake felt like freedom. My weekend barbecues grew from small gatherings to lively parties, with friends from Detroit joining me for burgers, music, and rides on the water. We kept things reasonably no late-night ruckus. No litter, but Linda Harper didn't see it that way. She showed up one Sunday in her pressed slacks and HOA badge, clutching a binder of bylaws like a weapon. "Mr. Bennett," she said, her tone clipped, "your parties are disrupting our community's peace." She cited rules about noise, parking, and lake access, claiming I was bound by the HOA. I told her I'd never signed their agreement. Her smile tightened, and I knew this was just the beginning. Linda's visits became a ritual. She'd arrive with other HOA board members, retired accountants, and busybody types demanding I stop my rowdy gatherings. They complained about cars in their parking lot and jet skis on their lake. I checked my deed again, and my lawyer confirmed what I suspected. The lake and lot were mine. The previous owner had let the neighborhood use the land out of kindness, but legally, it was private property. The HOA's claims were based on habit, not law. Things boiled over on a scorching July afternoon. I'd invited 25 friends for what I called my summer splash, a big barbecue with 4 jet skis, a classic rock playlist, and a spread of ribs and coleslaw. The lake sparkled, and laughter echoed as guests zipped across the water. Then Linda appeared, phone in hand, her face red with fury. "This ends today, Tom," she snapped. "You're trespassing on HOA property, and I've called the police." She gestured at the lake and the parking lot, where my guests' cars sat. I set down my drink, adrenaline surging. "Linda, you're standing on my land," I said, patting the folded deed in my pocket. She laughed a short, bitter sound and dialed 911. As we waited for the cops, Linda and her HOA allies gathered in the lot, whispering and glaring like they'd already won. My guests grew quiet, sensing the shift. I slipped inside, grabbed the deed from my filing cabinet, and returned to the deck. The document was my ace. It detailed my ownership of Crystal Lake and the surrounding land, including the lot. When the police arrived, Linda launched into her speech, painting me as a reckless outsider ruining Willow Creek's tranquility. "He's using our lake and parking lot without permission," she told Sergeant Daniels, a grizzled officer with a no-nonsense air. "We need this stopped." I stepped forward, deed in hand. "Sergeant, I'm Tom Bennett, and this is my property. Not only do I own this house, but I own the lake and that parking lot where Ms. Harper's standing." I handed him the deed, watching his eyebrows climb as he read. Officers Patel and Garcia leaned in, scanning the seals and signatures. The air grew thick with tension. Linda's confident smirk faltered. "That's impossible," she stammered. "This lot's been ours for years." Sergeant Daniels shook his head. "Ma'am, this deed says otherwise. You're on private property." The reversal was electric. My guests stifled grins as Linda's allies exchanged panicked glances. Sergeant Daniels turned to her. "Ms. Harper, you need to leave Mr. Bennett's land unless he permits you to stay." Her face drained of color. One board member sputtered. "Where will we park?" "This is our only lake access." I seized the moment. I'm not here to make life hard, I said, but I won't be bullied on my property. If you want to keep using this lot, we need terms. I listed my demands, a written apology from the HOA, acknowledgement that I wasn't under their control, and withdrawal of all complaints against me. Linda's jaw tightened, but she nodded. I'll discuss it with the board. Within a week, I got my apology, a stiffly worded letter from the HOA's lawyer confirming my rights and erasing their complaints. I had a surveyor mark my property lines with steel posts, making my ownership undeniable. Then I posted a sign at the lot's entrance. Private property lake access for respectful neighbors. Contact owner. My number was below, inviting dialogue but asserting control. The sign sparked buzz. Neighbors called, some to thank me, others to share their own HOA horror stories. I learned Linda's heavy-handed tactics had alienated many. The next weekend, I threw a freedom fest, doubling the guest list. 6 jet skis roared across the lake, a local band played, and the grill smoked with burgers. Linda stayed away, but other residents stopped by, some joining the fun. My parties grew into community events, with neighbors bringing potluck dishes and kids learning to jet ski. Even a few HOA board members showed up, cautiously at first, then laughing with the rest. The lake, once quiet, hummed with life. In September, Linda knocked on my door, her usual swagger gone. Over coffee on my deck, she apologized. I was wrong, Tom. I let power go to my head. Her voice trembled, and I saw a woman humbled by her missteps. I accepted her apology, not out of spite, but because I wanted peace. Let's move forward, I said. She nodded, and we parted on civil terms. By fall, Willow Creek felt like home. My parties had woven the community together, and the HOA's grip loosened. Linda stepped back, her influence waning as residents pushed for a fairer board. I stood on my deck one evening, watching the sunset ripple across my lake, knowing I'd fought for my rights and won something bigger, a neighborhood that valued respect over control. The battle with Linda wasn't just about property. It was about standing up to petty tyranny and reclaiming freedom. I'd turned a confrontation into a celebration, proving you can defend your rights without burning bridges. The sign at my lot still stands, a quiet reminder. Party approved. What do you think? Have you faced bullies like Linda in your life, whether it's an HOA, a boss, or someone else trying to control you? Share your stories in the comments below. How do you handle injustice or power grabs? Let's hear your take. Your voice matters.